It's the Ringside Wranglers Wrestling Report with your host, Jack Jaw.
Holy cow, wrestling fans! I'm your host, Jack Jaw, with the Ringside Wrangler Wrestling Report. If you need to reach out to us, check on coronavirus or check on anything in wrestling news, reach out to us at ringsidewranglers@gmail.com. This week, my co-host is...
Concerned about Corona.
Concerned about Corona he is. We're covering all the news from the WWE, NWA, Impact. If it's important, we cover it. Of course, we cover the independents, and we have a weekly spotlight. You want to stay tuned to hear it at the end. Going to the top of the news in the WWE, we're going to look at running down what happened at the Elimination Chamber.
You know what? I can't do this.
What?
I can't do this show. I'm not doing this show. I don't
wrong
feel
with you?
comfortable being in this facility. We're not in a bathroom closet. We're not in a bedroom closet. So we're not confined. I don't feel comfortable in this place, man. I don't feel it.
Covered.
I just don't feel it. Look, we got Lysol. We've got this 3M company brand mouthpiece. We even have the Street Profits infamous Solo Red Cup so we can drink our Corona when we can't contain our intake. We're doing everything we can, people. Okay, we're doing everything. I can't even watch my beloved Blackhawks because you canceled the season.
I got it
Why?
covered. I got it covered.
Why don't we just cancel breathing? I'm going to cancel breathing right now. I'm canceling breathing. Okay? Give me a break.
We got it covered. Okay, go on to the Elimination Chamber. What happened last Sunday? Daniel Bryan, go hit it, Punk. Daniel Bryan takes out Drew Gulak. On with Andrade versus Humberto. Andrade gets the win there. Going on to the SmackDown Tag Title Elimination Chamber. This match went on for, I got to go back to that one right there. Right there, you've got in the Daniel Bryan Drew Gulak match, you had a little wardrobe malfunction.
Uh-oh.
It was all over the internet.
Uh-oh.
There it was.
Uh-oh.
Not good. Either way, Daniel Bryan gets the win there. Andrade takes out Humberto Carrillo in the SmackDown Tag Title Elimination Chamber match. This thing went back and forth. Miz and Morrison gets the win there.
Ho ho.
Hey, ho ho. That's out of control. Yes, Aleister Black, AJ Styles. That was a match from the previous week where they actually going to fight this time. There was going to be no pre-matches for Aleister Black to do. Aleister Black gets the win. That was a great push for him. On to the, the Raw Tag Championship match.
Calm down. Here, take some of this.
I got it, man.
Take some of this.
I'm just amped up.
Take some of this. Take some of this.
I got it. Whoa,
Take some of this.
I got it.
Hey, Street Profits.
Street Profits.
Why are the Street Profits the World Tag Team Champions for the Raw brand? Because they got the smoke, which is in here. And it's not Corona infected, the smoke. Because this is a respiratory disease. But their smoke ain't Corona infected. It's the good stuff.
All right. On the first time of the fence, Street Profits, they do it. They take out Murphy and Rollins. During that match, you did have the interference or somewhat with Kevin Owens coming out, eating the popcorn. Either way, that was pretty good. We'll hit on that in a minute because Seth Rollins gets his revenge on that. On to the Braun Strowman defense of his Intercontinental title against the three, Shinsuke, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. Unfortunately, Sami Zayn gets the win there. I don't really like that at all. He doesn't even wrestle. He's just out there as like a promoter or an advocate.
I think he may have been injured. There may have been some kind of an inside secret or something about him not wrestling.
So now he's ready to wrestle now.
Think about it. When he first came in with Kevin Owens, those guys were hardcore, man. Those dudes were strong.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn is a very talented guy. I mean, that Kahula kick, whatever, it probably something that you put in here, Kahula, or is that the other drink? Whatever.
Maybe.
The bottom line is he's a very good athlete. He's a very talented wrestler. And he and Kevin Owens, they were a team for a while. Good old boys, if you will, there.
And he's the champ now, so.
Good. Braun Strowman will probably destroy him, assuming we even have WrestleMania this year. Oh, my God, did he just say that?
We'll have to tune in to see. The main event of Elimination Chamber turned out to be the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Shayna Baszler, I think this is crazy. I think she eliminated everybody by herself.
You said that's a Women Elimination Chambers match. Basically, you had 5 women and you had 1 Queen of Spades.
Queen of Spades. She gets the win.
If you want to bleed, the only card you need, the Queen of Spades.
I guess that sinks your...
the Queen of Spades.
I guess that sinks your...
I love
she's
you,
in the doghouse. She's not in the doghouse, is she?
Oh, heck no.
Not anymore.
No.
Either way, she's risen to the top. We'll see what happens with that in her match against Becky Lynch. Speaking of Becky Lynch, Leading off the Raw show the following Monday, this past Monday, she comes out. There she is talking smack, saying, hey, look, I'm not worried about Baszler. She calls her the black hole of charisma.
I call her the Queen of Spades.
There we go. Either way, she just dropped the mic and left after saying she's not worried about her. On to the next match. You had Rey Mysterio. He takes out Angel Garza. 619 all the time. So Rey Mysterio gets the win there. Then we go on to some footage of Kevin Owens at the Elimination Chamber match, coming out there with the popcorn, throwing it in his face. So you know this is going to build up to later in the night. AOP are out there. They're greeting him. Next one, Punk. AOP's out there greeting Kevin Owens when he comes in, and guess what? They lay him out. So much for popcorn for him. They didn't lay him out with popcorn.
Yeah, I think they need to be concerned more about workplace violence measures than how much Corona you partake in your Red Solo Cup, which is sponsored by the Tag Team Champions.
Street Profits. Then, coming out, you've got Charlotte Flair cutting her in-ring promo for the build-up for her match at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley comes out there, just looking at her, kind of saying some stuff under her breath, and guess what? She cold cocks her. Lays her out.
They showed a picture of Rhea Ripley when she was in Australia, first starting out.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was very attractive.
Yeah, she looked just like
And now, what the heck, man? What happened?
Cut her hair.
What did you do?
She buffed up.
Why did you do? I mean, buffing up's fine, but that
The haircut.
I don't get it.
Haircut, yeah. I think they were saying she looked a little too much like Charlotte Flair.
Who cares,
Yeah.
man? Who cares? There's only one Charlotte Flair. There will always only be one Charlotte Flair, just like her infamous father.
Yep.
Only one.
So Rhea Ripley drops Flair, leaves her in the ring, and she's just doing this number with her mouth and just going, oh, I'll get you back. So, and we'll see what happens because she does get her back later on. Next up, you had the boring match of the night, Bobby Lashley taking out Zack Ryder. Bobby Lashley is really getting underutilized.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the TNA days when he was the champ, and he's a legitimate Army, amateur champion in the U.S. Army, and all that stuff legit, man. It's all legit. And it's unfortunate that that's just where he's come to.
Yep. Next up, you had Drew McIntyre continuing his big push, taking out Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan seems to be, even though he's got his little angle with his animal, which gets squelched here in a second, but Eric Rowan, he's gone down to Aleister Black. Now he gets squashed by Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre looks like he's going to finish it off for good. He takes the ring steps and lays out whatever's in that little box for Eric Rowan. So maybe the little animal that he brings to the ring is gone.
No, I think they're like a sponge. Spiders are like a sponge, just like a octopi, octopuses, or whatever you want to call them. I think it just bounced off like a jelly. I think that thing's fine, and it's going to come back in arachnophobia, and it's going to be bad. That's what you need to worry about. The heck with coronavirus. What about this arachnophobia when this thing comes back from the dead and seeks its revenge on the Scottish psychopath?
It looks like the producer Punk's in agreement with you. Next up, you had Kabuki Warriors. They're taking on Liv Morgan and Natalya. Next, this is boring match number 2 for the night. Kabuki Warriors gets the win there. It's crazy. Who knows? I don't know what to make of that match. Next up, you had the 24/7 Riddick Moss, your champion, defeating Cedric Alexander. His move, the neck breaker. That's a legitimate 24/7. I think they're really making it big. You've got the wrong picture in there. Skip to the next one, Punk. That's what your next match is. Aleister Black taking out Seth Rollins via disqualification. Then you had the match build up from earlier in the evening. Seth Rollins and Murphy and AOP. They're taking on Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. Street Profits, there's your cup. Guess what happens? Rollins hit Montez Ford with the stomp. He gets the win. Kevin Owens is out there. Big craziness going on. Who knows? Then your main event, I'm not sure if you want to call it an event. You had the Rated R superstar Edge out there to finally confront Randy Orton.
Right.
MVP's trying to put his name in the hat of getting some big push now. But either way, it's just Edge takes out his frustration on MVP, does the concerto, and then he screams at him, at Randy standing outside going, "This is you, Randy.
Yeah, he got
this
really
is for you."
violent with Randy Orton. Basically, Edge is the Hall of Famer. He wanted to come back and get his one last hurrah. He came back. He legitimately had a career-ending neck injury through the technological advances in the world. made his injury mitigated. They can fix a broken neck, but they can't fix the coronavirus. Whatever.
Yeah.
The bottom line is he comes back and he's got all this ready to go, and then Randy Orton ruins Edge's moment, so much so that Edge was violent and said this in response. And he also said this in response.
Son of a bitch.
See? He got mad at him. He got really mad at him.
Either way, I thought it
Unbelievable.
was pretty crazy that they don't actually put Edge against Orton. Orton is standing outside the ring, so maybe they're just building all this up. Hopefully WrestleMania will happen and this actual match will happen. Hope it happens. Either way.
Because as we said, this is the correct cut. Edge was very violent. In fact, this is what he had to say to Randy Orton.
You took it away, you selfish son of a bitch.
He didn't like it at all.
Only the best technical ability.
Didn't like it at all. And I feel sorry for Randy Orton, man. Edge is just fired up.
So he's in trouble. Either way, on to NXT. The Raw show may have been your last show for over a month that's going to be filmed live in an arena. NXT starts tonight. We'll run down some matches there. Keith Lee, who's your North American champion, he defends his belt. He's a beast. He's a beast. He takes out Cameron Grimes. Next up, you had a ladder qualifier match. You had Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim. Mia Yim gets the win there. Go ahead, next one, Punk. Look at that laser out. That's crazy. What a sell move right there. Next up, you had Kushida versus Raul Mendoza. Kushida gets the win there. Then you had Charlotte Flair. She's returning the favor from Rhea Ripley showing up on Raw. She shows up on NXT, and guess what? She returns the favor, puts her in that little move outside the ring, little figure eight, whatever you want to call it, off the ring post.
Figure eight. That
was pretty good. Returning the favor. Who knows? They're building that up pretty good. Hopefully that'll come off at WrestleMania if it happens. Next up, you had another ladder qualifier match. Tegan Knox versus Deonna Purrazzo.
My goodness,
What?
my goodness,
They're selling
my
the
goodness,
women.
my goodness. What is the deal with NXT? This ladder matches, steel cage matches, match beyond war games matches, these freaking Night of Champions when they have the scaffold 100 feet in the air, Night of the Skywalker matches. Why do you have to have these phenomenal matches that 30 years ago sold the end of angles? Massive angles came to a climax with this climax match that was pay-per-view quality, Night of the Skywalkers, War Games, ladder matches, all this other stuff. Now you're doing this on Wednesday nights. And why? Because you're scared to death of Cody Rhodes.
Either way, ladder match goes to Tegan and Knox defeat Purrazzo. Tegan Knox defeat Purrazzo. Next up, you had the NXT tag titles defended by the Broserweights. They take out Undisputed Era. Look at that move right there. Whoa, that was so good. Either way, Broserweights continuing their big push as champions. Next up, in the main event, you had Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. This brawl went all over the Performance Center. Fans, get used to the Performance Center. That's where we're going to be for the next month. All the WWE events will be there. It's kind of weird.
No comment.
You got to continue on the big push. No fans. It's really a weird
Yeah,
angle.
you know who's going to be in the arena from now on? All these arenas are going to be the following people.
Nobody.
That's who you're going to have in your arenas from now on. Chickens, ducks, and the Domino's Pizza Dome.
Either way, you got to do what you got to do. You got to keep the wrestling angle going. I got to commend them for at least continuing on. They could preempt the show and just show old highlight shows. I'd rather the empty little Performance Center, me personally.
Personally, I like the Rock and Mankind at WrestleMania, or the Super Bowl, when they had that empty arena match. That was the best one of all time.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
That was great.
You got to commend them for continuing on. On to SmackDown. Last night's SmackDown, again from the Performance Center, an empty one. The show starts off with Triple H saying this will be a show like you've never seen before. Really? I thought it wasn't too bad. Sasha Banks kicks off the show with Bayley coming out. They're going to fight Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. It was kind of weird. This, literally no noise. You could almost desire to pipe in some noise.
That's what I was thinking. They need to pipe in some.
I mean, something. It was like you could hear them talk to each other. So much for the whisper in the ear. Hey, this is what's coming.
Oh
next.
yeah, you forget that.
You don't even do that. It was just like
They
were
can't
just
do it. If they did, the whole world would hear it.
And when they jump up on the ring to do their little move, it's like, who are they doing this to? It's
And Nikki Cross is sitting there doing this. Who are you appealing to? Daniel Bryan's doing this. Who are you appealing to?
Yeah, they're selling.
Jeff Hardy comes out, does all this.
Yeah.
Who are you appealing to? There's nobody in the arena but Michael Cole, Triple H, a referee, two film guys who aren't as good as Punk, by the way, just off the record letting you know that, and the wrestlers. That's all you got. What?
Yep.
10 fingers? 10, less than 10 people in the arena.
If you have a tag match. Yeah, it's crazy. And then the other thing I noticed was Triple H starts off the night is commentating with Michael Cole.
Yes.
After the first match, he says, I'm going to let you do your job. He takes a cut at Michael Cole. He says, you're not that great at what you do, but you're better than me. I thought that was kind of weird. But either way, he leaves, and then like after commercial break, he comes back and he goes, they told me to come back out here. They were really winging this show.
And then he actually started filming on a camera shot at one point. Yeah, I think they have a lot of fun with it. I don't think he meant anything about that with Michael Cole. Michael Cole's an established broadcast journalist. He's got a credible journalism degree from a very high institution, American Journalism School. Yeah. And with me being a broadcast journalism major, I kind of a master's or whatever, I kind of can sympathize with him on that. Anyway, he's a good dude.
Debate for another day.
I don't have a problem with Cole. He's a cool cat.
Next up, you had Michael Cole in the ring interviewing your man Roman Reigns, the dog, the big dog. I thought this was kind of weird because it looks like Big Dog was just selling him as I deserve getting this championship match, rather than him talking about a feud with Goldberg and he's better than Goldberg. It was more like I deserve this match.
Oh, I actually like the fact that they said some people feel that. How did you didn't even have a WrestleMania match, and then you just Goldberg utters the phrase "Who's next?" and you immediately walk out and say "I'm next," and now you just bought yourself a WrestleMania match, much like John Cena did, which we'll talk about later. But I like what Roman Reigns said because I think what he was going was, you gonna sit here and tell me that you don't think I'm deserve an opportunity at WrestleMania against Goldberg, and he's talking mostly about his leukemia stuff. Oh, yeah. How he fought so hard to come back from that. And he did. I mean, he busted his rear end for so many months. A normal man would have never been able to do that. But this guy, all due respect, and I'm being serious now, glasses coming off. This guy actually fought hard to come back with 8 months of rehab and a life-altering, being all throw the gimmicks out the window now, a life-altering event, and he beat it. Got the 3 count, and now he's back. So he deserves that match. Sorry. That's my opinion for whatever it's worth, which ain't much. That and a $5.50 bottle in this cup with the Street Profits, it's about what it's worth.
Yep. There you go. So after they interview, they come back for a commercial, and they go back to showing a complete, in its entirety, tag title match from the 5 tag teams from Elimination.
That's the beauty of having the WWE Network. If they're going to end up not having enough space to fill the 2 hours, with in-ring stuff at the Performance Center, they can always go back to their millions of hours of product content on the network, and they can pull something out. Be great. And it's a good way to sell their product. $10.89 plus tax, and you can see this.
Yep. So either way, the replay of the Miz and Morrison win at the Elimination Chamber.
Miz and Morrison.
Yep.
Hey.
Hey, ho, ho. That was pretty funny when they were doing that into an empty audience. That was pretty funny. Either way. Next up, you had Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak coming out there to fight Cesaro. This match was pretty good. Who knows? Bryan got the win there. It was really weird because all of these wrestlers in this little group of people, either wrestling or on the side, they depend on the audience's interaction with them.
It was
tough. Was just like, it was a little awkward at times.
Very awkward.
But either way, Bryan gets the win there. Next up, you had the return of Jeff Hardy.
I like the angle with Gulak. I like it because he's an old school guy, no knee pads, no elbow pads, just straight tights and boots like your Iron Mike Sharp. Oh my, did he just say Iron Mike Sharp? He must really be a has-been. Way back in the day, man. They're like going old school 70s, 80s stuff, and I love it. I'm glad to see Gulak in there, and hopefully he and Bryan will make a tag team, and they'll go and win the belts. That'd be great because they're both shooters. They're both stretchers. Yeah. What does a shooter and stretcher mean? Kids, go on Google.com and look up the word wrestling shooter, wrestling stretcher, and you will learn the idea of the day. What is a shooter? What is a stretcher? I'm not going to spoil it for you. Let Google do the work.
He's getting serious. He takes his glasses off. That means he's serious. Next up, back to that man right there on the screen, Jeff Hardy making his return. I guess his brother's leaving.
Well, he'll be
Or he's
debuting
gone.
Wednesday according to TV. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yep.
But according to Wednesday, when they come up with the Dark Order, Prince of Peace or whatever,
Yep.
Prince of Darkness, I thought that was Ozzy.
Yep.
Anyway, Matt Hardy will show.
That's good. So Jeff Hardy, he comes back. He takes out Corbin. This match really was just an introduction coming back. What you got, Punk?
What's that? Right here.
That right there, that's the man.
That would be Jeff Hardy doing an
taking
elbow
him-
shot
taking him
to
out.
Kane Corbin.
Yep, he gets the win there. That match was a stretch. I guess I think they may have possibly brought back Jeff Hardy a little soon because that match was a little awkward for him. They didn't have a lot of charisma in the ring there.
And I love the way that he would literally look like he was in a 15-car traffic accident that happens every other hour on I-10 in Baton Rouge, and he's holding his back. Oh, I'm gonna call Dudley the Moser. I gotta call him, boy.
And your comment, he's selling it to who in the audience?
Yeah,
There's
nobody.
no audience. Who's he selling
I'm
this
sorry.
to?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say, I'm gonna call Dudley the Moser, and Gordon, LeCurn, and LeBeau, and LeRoux, and everybody else.
Call the injury attorney.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, that was kind of lame, but either way, happy to see Jeff Hardy back. Next up, you had John Cena. They pitched it all night. Again, talking to an empty audience. He's talking to who's he talking to?
He's talking to Bray Wyatt, who wasn't the Fiend.
Well, it was funny. Before that, he was talking to Michael Cole. They
Right,
was having a
and then Bray was
conversation.
actually there.
And then you hear Bray Wyatt talk from the back,
Right.
from an empty arena,
Right.
empty place.
He
He's
was
like-
right there
he's
on
just-
the
he's like
first
sitting
row
there,
ringside.
comes up in the ring and gets in his face. I think this is Bray Wyatt
You know,
at his best.
and yes, and this is what, when that angle went off the air, I was thinking to myself, Bray Wyatt mentioned that John Cena said, you don't care about the people. I'm trying to push the young guys and the NXT folks like Velveteen Dream and blah, 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 blah. And Bray Wyatt goes, don't give me that horse.
Crap.
Basically, what you're
pushing
doing
yourself.
is you're just like Ric Flair. You're just like Shawn Michaels. You're just like Triple H. You don't know when to get out of the spotlight. When you've been off TV for enough time, you can't deal with it, and you got to come back and you get intoxicated. You don't need this stuff to intoxicate you. You need the fans. You need that glory. You need that ego to make you thrive. And I love that. And you're right, dude. I agree with you 110%. That was one of Bray Wyatt's best angles he has done in a while. And that's why I know for a fact that he is a generational superstar along with his brother Bo Dallas and his father, IRS,
Yep.
Rotundo. That's how you know. This is like Randy Orton.
Yep.
You can't be taught this. This comes in the brain from birth.
Yep.
When you spit out of your mom, that's when all this starts.
Yeah, that's the one little downfall, if you want to find one of the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, is he's always talking from the firehouse, fun house, or whatever. So now him talking in the ring like that was really cool.
Right.
Yep. Either way, on to our favorite AEW. Everybody's favorite right now. We do this weekly. We look at the Wednesday Night War. Monday night's about 30 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. Either way, on the Wednesday Night War, you had Dynamite winning again. Their numbers were down. NXT numbers were down. But either way, Dynamite still gets the win. Dynamite, they come onto the airwaves on Wednesday night. They're pushing their big Blood and Guts episode on March 25th. Right after that, they have to announce that they're canceling that. What?
If they're not going to have television audiences anymore because of the concern about this, then that has to mean that by default, there'll be more people watching from home, which means by default, the numbers ought to spike up.
They should. That's a good point. Well, at a minimum, they should spike up about 15,000. That's about 100 people in these arenas.
I guess we'll see.
Either way, Dynamite wins again. First match of the night, you had Cody versus Ortiz from the Inner Circle. Cody gets the win there. That was a pretty exciting match. You had a lot of outside. You had, who was the old, who comes out with Ortiz all the time? No, excuse me, with Cody Rhodes all the time?
Double A.
Double A, Arn Anderson out there. You got Cody Rhodes' wife out there.
Yeah.
I thought at one point that was pretty cool when Cody took off that little belt that he wears.
Yeah,
and threw it out
crowd.
of the audience.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
He does it all the time. It's nice.
But either way, you have a whole lot of angles being pushed here
Yeah.
with the Inner Circle. Either way, Cody Rhodes gets the win there.
That's vintage Rhodes family right there. Fall on your back, come up with the
Yeah,
fist.
I love that.
That's vintage. That is
Yep.
vintage
Boop.
right there. That's vintage Rose.
Yep.
He does it. His brother Dustin does it.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
vintage.
it's
Now,
almost
their
like
father
that-
couldn't do it because he weighed too much.
That's right, he
Oh,
couldn't-
did you just say that? Oh, you no good.
He couldn't get back up. It was crazy.
I can't believe you said that about a WWE. No, hell with that. A wrestling legend.
Yep.
Deceased. God bless him. And you gonna sit there and say the man is so fat he couldn't get up from doing that.
You said it.
You no good, dude.
Next up, you had women's match: Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose, your champ, and Bea Priestley. Rose and Priestley get the win. Look at that big bad woman right there. And then you have Priestley holding Nyla Rose's belt. You know, it looks like maybe they'll be pushing that angle next. Who knows? I don't really care about any angle with Nyla Rose that does not involve her losing it. That's what I want to see. That's either way. Women's in AEW is probably their only downfall. Either way.
Use some help.
Next up, Jurassic Express versus MJF, the Butcher and the Blade, and who
The
else?
Bunny.
The Bunny.
My
there
favorite.
we go.
No, my second favorite. My favorite is the Doctor.
Okay.
And I ain't talking about thugonomics. I'm talking about the real Doctor.
All right, MJF, Butcher, and Blade get the win. Another tiny win for MJF. It just seems like he continues to get these little last-second heel-type wins, which makes his character so good.
Absolutely.
Check him out right there. He says, "Oh, don't hurt me, don't hurt me."
That
And
guy is a
he jumps
diamond in the rough. He's one of those diamonds in the rough because he was like sitting in Ring of Honor doing his thing and he probably would have just wasted away. I mean, it's a great, don't get me wrong, I'm not making any disrespect to that company, but where he was at in the company just kind of was just rinse, lather, repeat, wasting away. Cody went and found him. Now he's taking off.
He's good. Check him out in the next one right there with the Butcher and Blade.
That dude's
He
really,
knows.
MJF
Next
is really
one,
good.
Next one, Paul. There we go. Check him out.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Very
All right.
talented man.
Next up, you had our guy, Tony Schiavone, interviewing Britt Baker.
That's my favorite female wrestler in the AEW.
Britt Baker?
Dr. Britt Baker, a legitimate licensed dentist. Not no doctor. No, this chick is a real. No, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna disrespect her like that. This lady is a legitimate licensed dentist.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
Dr.
said it.
Britt
Yeah.
Baker, MD.
Well, she's out
Unlike
there.
Trapper John, MD. Unlike Dudley Do-Right, MD.
Well, she's out there talking smack and getting the fans to boo her and stuff and all this kind of stuff. Out comes Big Swole. Big Swole says, "I'm not afraid of you. I don't like you, this, all that kind of stuff." So Britt Baker grabs Tony Schiavone's coffee,
Right.
throws it in her face.
And Big Swole is legitimately married.
To one, yeah, to
This one,
somebody.
because I'm not married. This one. She actually is legitimately married to a
who?
WWE superstar.
I didn't know that. Who
I
is
wonder
that?
who that might be.
Who is it?
Maybe we'll get that answer. I'll tell you what. That's our question for the
Trivia
day.
question.
Trivia question. Who is Big Swole married to in real life to a WWE superstar? Hit us up with your information.
No idea. My information is you comment on the YouTube or Facebook who that Big Swole's husband is in real life, and we'll promise to send you your Corona help.
And we'll also
Lysol.
we'll plug you, give you, and that's a media term for we're going to push you. That's a wrestling term for we're going to say your name, where you're from, and give you a shout out.
Push you over the top. Do it. Comment on our Facebook.
Do
comment
it.
on our YouTube. Here we go. Next up, you had Joey Janela and Private Party versus Death Triangle, the new group that Pac has put together.
Pac.
Pac. There it is.
Pac.
Some good. I mean, these guys are just. They do some crazy moves.
Like a circus.
It's crazy. I mean, look what they're doing.
You know, if Pac would have called that, he probably couldn't have did it legally, but if he would have called his group War Ensemble, could he use Slayer come to the ring? Oh my Lord, that would have been awesome.
Here we go.
Oh man.
I mean, sometimes you watch this and you're just going, these guys are putting on a
Hey,
show.
that's why NXT has to do Match Beyond War Games and Night of the Skywalkers and ladder matches because they can't they don't have the quality, man, to do stuff like this. Man, this is AEW. This is like their throwaway show. This isn't their pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This is just to fill time on TNT. I mean, it's great, man. Cody Rhodes, God bless you, bro. You got something going now, man.
Death Triangle, they get the win there. Next up, you had Hangman Page and a mystery partner. They pitched all night long. They were going to take on Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, Inner Circle guys. That mystery partner turned out to be none other than
Dustin Rhodes,
Dustin Rhodes,
the
man.
Natural, the Cowboy,
Yep.
the Cowboy term which we can't say.
Yep.
Starts with an S.
Oh,
That's all I'm going to
I
say.
have no idea what that is. Don't
Hey,
comment. With
it's
that.
in the
Don't
crowd.
comment.
Hey,
Do not comment
they
that one.
are posters in the crowd that say it, and even Dustin Rhodes said that word because one thing I love about AEW, the censors and filters are off their microphones. They can say whatever word they want. It does not matter. Just can't say the infamous four-letter word that George Carlin got in trouble with. And again, kids, with your parents' permission, Google search George Carlin, and you'll find out what that word is with your parents' consent and approval. I will say it again for legality purposes. With your parents' consent and approval, you can do a Google search and find out what George Carlin said. It's the one word that you cannot say on AEW.
There we go. Next up, you had that match went to Paige and Rhodes. They get the win. After the match, the Inner Circle hits the ring. Cody Rhodes hit the ring. Matt Jackson hits the ring. This fight spilled onto the ramp. You had one half of the tag. Who are the two brothers? The tag brothers.
Oh, the Young Bucks?
Young Bucks. You had one half of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, what's
coming out
up
there.
with the guy his beard starts like right underneath his eye temples and goes all the way down to his chin? Looks like a wolf man.
There you go. But
What's up with that?
He comes out there, lays out somebody with the chair. Jericho gets the chair back, and look, they end the show like that. What a nice way on cable TV to end the show with 5 or 6 guys.
I love it.
Flipping
I
you
love
off. Flipping you off.
I love it.
On a sideline note.
But what about this dude with
it's
Jake?
coming over here. On a sideline note, during the show, you had Jake the Snake bringing his dark, what was it called, a dark circle or dark?
Yeah.
Dark side. He's bringing
But
the dark side to AEW.
who's this dude he's with?
That's Lance Archer.
And where was he from?
He was from Impact. Impact. Who?
That's what I was saying the whole night.
He's a big dude, but either way, I mean.
Maybe he's good, but as far as I'm concerned,
I like. I knew who he was.
I
either
didn't.
way.
I didn't.
love the way,
I don't watch Impact, man. I'm
Jim
sorry.
Ross, the way Jim Ross sells people, I like when he just refers to him as thoroughbreds. He's a thoroughbred. He's in AEW. Either
Yeah.
way.
Well, so was Jake Hager. So was Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Thoroughbred.
So were all these dudes, man.
Who's not a
Especially if they
thoroughbred?
went to Oklahoma. Oh my God, they went to Oklahoma. They're the greatest thing in the world.
You're a premium thoroughbred if you went to Oklahoma.
Boomer Sooner. Oh, that's Texas, idiot.
Either way, that was pretty
Boomer
cool.
Sooner, Boomer
because
Sooner.
The whole audience knew who this guy was because
did.
as he came out, they were all going the holy,
Yeah.
holy,
Yeah,
holy.
yeah, yeah.
It was crazy.
yeah.
It was out of control.
I didn't know who he was. Sorry.
Either way.
I know who Jake Roberts is.
Yeah, he's the man. So next up, our piece on independent wrestling. We love to support independent wrestling. Independent wrestling in these little high school shows with high schools being shut down across the United States. So you're going to have to check their schedule on Facebook or
And we're going
webpage.
to and we're going to ask you, the independent folks that we have no problem supporting. We want to support you. And we love supporting you. If you have an issue that with an event that you're concerned, and I'm being serious. If you're concerned about the health scares, get in touch with us. Let us know so we can put this on our page and we can mention it on this podcast because we want people. We all understand that safety is number one. Respect your opinions no matter what they may be, but just from an information purpose of communicating to the media through social, etc. We want to make sure that you let us know that. So
And we'll get it out there. Unfortunately, these guys can't do empty arena shows, so you have to look up.
They probably
You have
could.
to check the things.
They could. I mean, honestly, they could do it because we could, like back in the day when Mr. Root was filming and East Park. I mean, they could film it and play it back on whatever. There's a way they could do it. It may cost a little bit, but they could.
Yeah, do a little pay-per-view on Facebook.
They
Go
could.
out there and do it.
We'll do
No.
it. We'll shoot it for them.
He'll do it and we'll do commentary. I ain't never did it before. Ain't like he ain't never did it before.
We
You
can
know
shoot
what
it
you're doing.
for
This is
you.
this whole thing is your brainchild.
Yeah.
This whole project, man. We could do this. Hey, if you want to do a show and you're scared about it, okay, glasses off. You're concerned about this Corona stuff. You know, we want to smoke one. Let us know. You want to film a show? Let us know. We will do commentary. Punk is a phenomenal producer with this stuff. We'll take care of it and we'll get it up and we'll have it broadcast and you can keep your gang going. No problem. And I'm serious. No joking around. Contact us. We will hook you up. We want to do it.
Ringside Wranglers at gmail.com. Hit us up. On to the independent wrestling, Wrestling 225 that we follow closely. They had a show, 225 Mania in Livingston. That was going to be at a high school. Check the Facebook page because that's going to be preempted, postponed, because that school is closed. In Louisiana, they've closed all schools. So
That's right.
a lot of independents across the nation are facing their schools and where they're shooting these shows. But either way, check Wrestling 225's page. Everybody's looking excited about seeing Corey Constantine defend the title for the first time. I'm certain that's going to come soon.
Yep.
Either way, check
But,
the Facebook
hey,
page.
We're doing a really good job today. I got to pat us both on the back because you know what? We're doing straight up.
What?
We letting you know what's going on today, brother. We're
right.
all over the place.
Another one we like to follow, ECPW. They had to cancel their show also because of the coronavirus. You know, it's going to affect us all. We just need to stay in the news, look at their Facebook page, and follow them there. Next up, our weekly spotlight story. We've got a great report this week. We're going to talk 10 WWE wrestlers who desperately need new gimmicks. So what we say when we looked at this list, we said, guess what? These are 10 guys that you just made the list.
Right.
You just made the list. First on the list is Carmella. Ever since Carmella turned face, it's just not that good. We're calling her vanilla babyface. It's old. Time for a change. We don't know what the change needs to be. We just know it needs to change. Next up, you got Nikki Cross. Her current gimmick is she's just friends with, who's she friends with? Alexa Bliss. That's it. Remember when she used to come out there and she was like chaotic? You didn't know what she was going to do?
Yeah, that's when she came out with Eric Young and all them boys from TNA.
Just
Yeah, that was great.
change that gimmick.
Great, man.
Change that gimmick.
Yeah.
Next up, Johnny Gargano. He's sort of going through a little change right now, being a heel. You know, it's
See,
like,
this Gargano got me, no disrespect. Every time I hear that name, I think of the Galapagos Islands when I was in school and all. It's just that name's got to go. Maybe you should change that name.
Maybe.
That name's kind of silly to me.
He just needs to go all in heel.
It's like Pac-Man's eating his crotch down there.
Oh, what? What? Maybe that's an angle right there. Pac-Man eating my crotch.
You can't use Pac. There's already a Pac.
Next up, Apollo Crews. It's like they pretty much squashed this guy. You know,
Apollo Crews.
I'm thinking
that name sounds familiar.
This guy from the day he started,
He may be,
he's the same.
and he may be married to a female superstar in another company.
Oh, you know that one too?
I don't know, maybe.
Comment on that channel. Give us that answer.
Did
We'll
he just,
plug you.
There he goes again. He
We'll send you
just
some
spoiled. He
coronavirus
just
support.
spoiled it. You know
Yep.
good.
Next up, you got Rusev. What is this angle? What is Rusev's angle right now? He's just like the shunned ex-husband role. It's just weak. I prefer the brute type deal.
Yeah.
Something he's better as a heel. You know, we always have these better as a heel, better as a face.
When he came out and he was barefoot and he had the long hair and Lana spoke in Russian and all that stuff, that was great. Now you got this.
It's Rusev Day.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's when it all went down.
It's weak. He's due for a change. Next up, Liv Morgan. She went through a change recently in the last 6 months, and I thought they moved away from a good angle for her.
Yeah,
when she was part of the Suicide Squad. Look at this.
Yeah,
next
the
one.
bubblegum tongue
Yeah.
and the Suicide Squad, that at first it irritated me, but honestly,
It got good.
she was very, I mean, she's wasn't in the spotlight like she is now, because now she's in the spotlight. She's a very sexy lady, definitely pushing that for her, and that's cool, but that was definitely her heyday right there.
Yeah.
If they could have taken that look, but got her more of the aggressive style with that look, that'd be great. Because even in the Suicide Squad, the chick that looks like that, she ain't some, hopping bunny chick, whatever. That girl's legit. She's hardcore and tough.
she's
So
legit.
Liv could do the same thing.
When she just got completely destroyed by Shayna Baszler at the Elimination Chamber when she slammed her up against
Yeah,
the cage.
well, the thing is, here's another problem with WWE. You got all these people back in the day that were good. They still are good, but they at the particular moment, several years ago, months ago, they got their push where they were so strong. Now those same people, like your Eric Rowans and your Livs and all this stuff that were so good back in the day, now they're getting pulverized by people because those people got to get their last second push to prepare for WrestleMania, assuming there even is going to be a WrestleMania. That's what's going on.
If it's up to Vince, you know they're going to have it. But
Dude,
it
when
may
you
not be
got
up
a
to Vince.
man who was to be descended from the top of the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, and he had a malfunction with the rigging gear, and he falls down and hits the top turn rope, breaks his neck on impact, and they do an open heart massage and all that on a live pay-per-view, and they come back and JR and King says, I'm sorry to tell you, but Owen Hart's dead, and this show's still going on. And you're going to do that, but you're going to cancel a show because of somebody drank too much Corona and got the smoke, then you, sir, are a no good turd.
Either way, if it's up to him, you know they'll have it, but guess what? It won't be up to them. So we're thinking there's probably a 90-10, 95-5% chance that it actually comes off. Who knows? Either way, another story. Next up, King Corbin. This guy is doing an angle that is so 20 years old, so yesterday, the whole King stuff. That has been dead in the water.
Anybody who won the
20
King of the
years.
Ring, they had their crown and scepter for a week or two, and then it was done. The only king they had King Booker, and you had the original King Lawler.
Yep.
And that's the only kings I was ever, and King Harley Race for a
Yeah,
while.
King Harley
And
Race.
other than that, no one really ran with this king gimmick except for Harley Race, God bless him, Jerry the King Lawler, and the 5-time WCW champ, Booker T, Hall of Famer, 2-time Hall of Famer, and the Hall of Famer, Jerry Lawler, and Hall of Famer, Harley Race. So these guys that did the King Kane gimmick are all Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Booker being 2-time.
This will not be a Hall of Famer because of this King gimmick for sure.
No, he's going to have to let his wrestling style
He's due
do that.
for a change. Mojo Rawley, remember when he used to be that just basket of energy, intensity and stuff, stay hyped, all that kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, that was really great. And all I can say is maybe when Gronk
Yep.
comes in,
That's right.
they might do something with him.
Yep.
Maybe.
Could
We'll
be.
have to see.
And
And,
the whole-
we're going to talk about this Gronk thing next week because we don't have enough time to do it. But, I mean, I don't know about that. If I were a WWE superstar or hell, any wrestling superstar for that matter, or just you could either be a superstar, you could be a wrestler, you could be whatever you call yourself. I think look, I understand that the national appeal, but look, these guys don't need national appeal. These guys have been in this business for so many years. They don't need somebody to come from the NFL, NHL, NBA, NCAA, whatever. They don't need people to come into their world and do that stuff. These men and women have done this long enough that they can hold their own, and that's my opinion for whatever it's worth.
Either way. If a wrestler thinks he's going to get an angle or a gimmick push being the 24/7 champion,
Look, if I have been wrestling in this business for as long as I have, ECW, WCW, WWE, WWF, Mid-South, world class, Memphis, Washington, Portland, wherever, okay? And I've been 30, 40-year veteran, Jericho, etc., okay? And you tell me I got to get a guy who retired from the NFL to come into my business to put me over. I'm going to look you square in the face, ball him up, and knock you out. I don't need people to sell me. I have sold myself.
He's sold out. Either way, Mojo Rawley needs to move on, get a new gimmick. Either way, Big E. New Day has pushed up. They've pushed up. Who the two guys in the New Day? It's Big E.
Xavier Woods.
He's gotten his push from New Day.
And Kofi.
Kofi's got his push.
Kofi actually had a push before.
Yeah.
He had the Kofi when he was the Jamaican thing. He did really good. I would say the two people that benefited the most from New Day would be Woods and Big E.
Well,
but
Big E's push from that is done. He needs a new
I
angle.
don't know. I think I'm gonna respectfully disagree a little bit because I think that they should run this New Day thing for a while. It's still got some
Run the
diesel.
heel?
It's still got diesel in the tank. Maybe they need to go ahead and make them heel again because the face thing's kind of done. You know, after a while, just like anything else in life, stuff gets stale, especially with bread. You know how bread and milk gets stale so fast in the stores?
Yep.
So if you go heel for a little while, get stale, you jump the face, baby face for a little while, go back. Maybe they need to do a heel gimmick. And we talked about the heel
What if
gimmick might happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah, what if they made him the heel and the Xavier Woods and Kofi stayed face? Split
Wow,
them
that
internally.
sounds familiar.
They never
Could
split
you
them internally.
could you say the Shield?
Yeah, the shit, just like that. Turn them like
Could
the
you
Shield.
say the Four Horsemen, DX,
Yep.
NWO? Where
Do
have we
it.
seen all this before? And did it work all those times?
All the time.
All the time.
Either
Listen
way.
to this man. He knows.
Yep. Next up, the funny one, Shorty G. It recently got this angle. This is an angle. He needed an angle change before, gimmick change, and then it even went worse. A quote I recently heard or said or read about Shorty G. Shorty G's look is what a 70-year-old man's interpretation of what looks cool in kids. That's the look he's got right there.
I feel bad for him because he is a legitimate amateur wrestling champion from an accredited United States college. And again, children, Google.com, with your parents' permission, put in Gable's name, Chad Gable. Where did he wrestle amateur university? They'll give you the name. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Do the work. You're going to see how many times he won amateur championships at that accredited university. And I'm very disappointed that they didn't. They may have did it for a little while, but I really wish they would have pushed him with Kurt Angle when he was there.
Yep.
With your boy from Minnesota,
Yep.
not
Wait,
Brock.
no, Brock. Who's the other one? Either way. Comment on that YouTube channel. What school, what college did
Shelton
Gables
Benjamin.
go to?
That's the
Oh, I
man's
forgot about
name.
him.
Shelton Benjamin.
They were
And
together for a
that's
little
what I'm saying. If they would have come together, you put in your Kurt Angle with him, and I think he was kind of with him too. They should have did more with that angle because these guys, their amateur backgrounds, you mix that with your MMA folks coming in, like Brock Lesnar and like that, and plus your Kurt Angle with their stuff. I mean, you get a faction of people with backgrounds like that come from the amateur wrestling and the MMA versus going to the wrestling schools. And no disrespect, hey, wrestling schools are phenomenal, man. That's what makes it the business today. So you have a group that did the wrestling school way. You did a group that came from the amateur wrestling way, like high school, college, NCAA, et cetera, like that. And plus your MMA groups, you kind of put them all together into a nice little potpourri gumbo.
Yep.
And you got something to work with. And then you don't have this guy walking around saying, my name's Shorty G. No, you're not. Your name's not Shorty G. Your name is Mr. Gable. And you are a phenomenal wrestling superstar with an accredited amateur background.
Yep. Well, that's your show this week at Ringside Wrangler. I'm your host, Jack Jaw, reminding you, it's a crazy, we joke about this sometimes, but it is serious. Hygiene can help you out with the coronavirus. You know, take care of yourself, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds.
No, 20 times an hour. Wash your hands 20 times an hour.
20 times an hour.
20 times an hour, wash your
Simple
hands.
it is. Stay away from sick people. If you're sick, stay home. I'm your host, Jack Jaw,
Unless you're down
Ringside
with the
Wrangler,
sickness.
Wrestling Report. Reach out to us at ringsidewranglers@gmail.com. I'm out.
It's the Ringside Wranglers Wrestling Report with your host, Jack Jaw.